I saw a post today of someone saying how you just need to make one short a week on YouTube and TikTok and you can make it big was kind of annoying. They're not wrong. It's not like, oh, do this and you'll make it big. Do it well, do the right thing, you know, around it. There's a lot of strategy there, but they're not exactly wrong. Because the thing is, a lot of people will stream for 6-7 hours when instead they should stream for 4 hours and then use 2 hours to turn that VOD into things to post elsewhere. Like make a short out of it, make several shorts out of it. And honestly, if you're streaming for 4 hours, you should be able to find like 3 shorts in all of that, right? And then you should be able to take that and then be like, okay, now I'll make a highlight. I'll also get this uploaded to my VODs channel. I'll also draft a bunch of tweets and schedule them. So I've got 3 tweets going out per day. You know what I mean? Like, if you're trying to grow, you're like smaller, like you should do that shit. But people don't. They just don't. They just stream and then they're like, why am I not growing? They tweet a couple things, but the stuff they tweet is stuff that just doesn't attract anybody, and they're not able to like look at their own tweets and realize that. You know, it's things like that where they just like, there's fundamentally something that they gotta change. And they don't really know. They don't really know what it is yet. Hot take, I think a lot of VTubers that do the whole thing and don't really like make it past a certain point, I think it's because they aesthetically need to change something about their model. It doesn't mean you need a quote-unquote better model. It means like maybe the design ain't it, maybe the art style doesn't really suit like what you're going for. Some things are like the concept is cool, but there's nothing attractive about it in execution, if that makes sense. Like, they'll have a really cool concept, but then when you look at it, it's like... People like Cinnamoroll, not because his design is the coolest design ever, but because he's really cute. You just look at Cinnamoroll and you're like, I'm so happy right now, right? That's what makes it good. It's not his banger design. He doesn't really have much of a revolutionary design, right? So that's kind of, I think, what a lot of people are missing. And it doesn't mean that what you have needs to be conventionally attractive. But people need to look at it and be like, I still want to look at that. I really want to keep looking at that, right? Or maybe the way the thing moves is really good. I think a great example is Kenji. He's got that fuck-ass model that looks like shit that he made himself. But it's funny. It's funny, and the expressions that it makes enhances what he says to make what he says seem even funnier than it is. Not saying he's not, but you know what I mean. Like, if he says something that's pretty funny, then when you see it come out of that model, it's like really funny, you know? And the arms move around really stupid, so he'll like sway his arms in this dumb way. And it's specifically designed to be funny. So yeah, the model works really well, and like it's not a conventionally attractive model at all, but it works. And that's I think what a lot of people, like a lot of VTubers, are missing, is that something about your model has to be like either attractive or funny looking, or like it just, people just want to keep looking at it because it just gives them some sort of vibe. Maybe it's just soft and it makes people comfortable, right? Like something about it, they're like, oh, I'm really comforted by this. Or maybe it just suits you really well. It just suits your voice and the way you talk, or like the type of content you do. But something has to match up somewhere, right? It could be like anything, but I think there are a lot of people where their models kind of like miss a few of those, like enough of those check boxes. Maybe like their design's good, but then the way the model is rigged like doesn't suit the way they talk, right? Maybe it has this like ultra bratty face, but then the way the person talks doesn't sound like that at all, so there's a disconnect, right? Something along those lines. Maybe that does work for the person. Maybe the dichotomy works. It could be different for everybody, but I think you really gotta like do it differently for everyone and stare at the model, watch it move and talk while the person's talking, and figure out like, is this working? And like, if not, what can I change so that it like matches, or I add some trait or quality to like make the end result good here, you know? Ria's chibis do that. Yeah. Like that's a good example, right? Like Ria's chibis just look really good. It doesn't matter what voice comes out of them. It doesn't matter what content you're making with them. They just look really good, right? That they've got the Cinnamoroll effect. So anyone can look at it and be like, that shit look funny. I like that shit. Right? Plain and simple. Plain and simple. So therefore, anyone who gets one of those, the way your model looks is not going to be the problem, pretty much. There will be some outliers. There will be some people where I'm like, that voice in that model is just like crazy. And sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be bad. But for the most part, yeah, that model will work on everybody. I don't know. There are so many factors, but I feel like the TLDRs, so many VTubers have some sort of like disconnect, like something aesthetically with the matchup between them, their content, and then the way the model looks and everything. Like something's disjointed there, and that's why a lot of people have a lot of issue. I don't think that means that those people getting a different model would fix everything and they'd suddenly become like super popular. I'm not trying to say that, but oops, it's something to consider before you go looking at other shit, you know? And then there's some people that are just like so entertaining or so funny that what their model looks like literally doesn't matter. There's that factor as well. So sometimes it's just literally not even an issue. How did you decide on your model design? I had an old D&D character that I was playing for a really long time, and I just made sure things kinda matched up with that. So for me, it was something that I had already like quote unquote been for a long time. Not exactly the same, definitely a lot of changes, so it's not the same thing, but that went into a bunch of the specific choices at least. Joel being a prime example of the gap between model and voice, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think if he had a female VTuber model like he does, but then had a wildly different design, like a girl in like half schoolgirl, half tech wear kind of design, it just like wouldn't be that good. But then him being like a beautiful Victorian doll is so funny because it's everything you would think he would sound like and be like. It's completely the opposite of like how he talks, how he sounds, the type of stuff he says. So it works really well, right? It works really, really well. And then he has like a model that generally is on the pretty side. It's aesthetically pleasing. It works out because he is an artist. He used to do art streams for a long time, and that just kind of suits some of the stuff he talks about too, right? There are a lot of people that come into his chat that also really like art and like talking about character design or whatever, you know? So that's why it works. So it's not like you need a model that like suits you one-to-one. It's more like it just a lot of different factors need to align. You need to tweak stuff until it just feels right. Hey, avoid being too gimmicky. What do you mean? Give an example. I mean, everyth's been done. Do you mean how you act on stream, or do you mean like the way your model looks and moves and stuff? Because the answer depends on that. Or do you mean overall? I think the one thing I think we need to not see at all anymore is people keep slamming 2 or 3 words together and being like, I'm the blank 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 VTuber, and it'll be like, I'm a banana milk bunny VTuber. I'm the Twilight Wizard ice cream VTuber, right? And they just like pick like blank blank blank, and they just throw this shit together, and they're like, that's me. And sometimes it works because there actually is thought on why these things are together, or it has like special meaning to that person, and they reference it all the time, so it's not like weird when you get into their chat. You're like, what's the reference? And they're like, I just like banana milk. Sometimes they're like, their design really reflects it really well. But a lot of the time, they just like pick things because they think they need to pick things, but you don't need to pick shit. You can look like whatever you want and then be like, I'm a VTuber, I fucking play games. Like, you don't need, you know what I mean? You know, your brand is about like general world building, not like the 3 keywords that you put on your profile. But I think a lot of people get to into that idea of like being like, I need to have 3 words that people can understand when they see me. I think it also comes from they don't want to feel like they're copying other people, even though I think everything's been done and you don't need to worry about that. But oh my gosh, speed. People freak out about it. And because of that, they feel the need to like stack on more words so that they feel more legally distinct. And then they end up with a brand that they don't even like care about that much. They were just trying to be legally distinct. You know? Like, God forbid you have fox ears, right? Like, oh, you can't just be a fox. You have to be a whatever fox. It's okay to just be a fox, guys. It's okay. It's all right. You know, there are like thousands upon thousands of them in the world, and no one gets mad at them and is like, yo, I've already seen another fox. You gotta change, you know? One of us is gonna have to change our dress. It's fine. You can just be a cat girl. You know, we have like 5 green cats and none of them fight. It does get a little annoying because sometimes if it's like the same shade of green or you look like too similar, not that the brand is the same, but if you look too similar, sometimes you will have people do the thing of being like, oh, aren't you this one? And you're like, no, I'm the other one. That does happen. But just don't look exactly the same. You'll be all right. You can be a green cat too if you want. It's okay. You know? You don't have to like add all these taglines to your brand just to be like, oh, I'm like different though. Sight, man. I think people got scared because it has happened a couple times where people have called each other out for like having a similar brand. Because in the beginning, there were only like the Noah's Ark of VTubers, right? There aren't that many people. Everyone knew everyone else. So if you had like one sea creature and then someone comes up and they're also a sea creature, people would be like, you're encroaching on my sea creatureness. And then another one would show up and they'd be like, whoa, you better be a very different species from me. You know? Like people used to do that shit. But now there's like so many people that I'm like, you really can't do that, dude. You'd be like, back the fuck up. I'm the only shrimp and only I can be named whatever the word for shrimp is. You know, it's okay. Just do whatever, man. Do whatever. The other thing is like that branding just doesn't affect like
hey, John
VTube
here again following up on my
yes.
last message.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a big proposal for you. Have
wow.
you considered being the first ever cosmic sea dragon Vtuber?
You know, people used to actually agonize over that shit. I had people back when I had my DMs open, they would DM me and ask if it was okay to have white hair.
The wars were harrowing, so many lost.
Oh, the dogs, yep. I've been asked several times in the past. Someone would be like, I have a design that's being worked on, but it looks like this, and it will be a character that doesn't look like me at all, but it has like whitish or grayish hair, and then it either also has heterochromia or also has like pointed ears or something, right? And people would be like, is this okay with you? I feel like, yeah, do whatever the fuck you want. Like, I don't give a shit. You know, it's clear when it's just like 2 or 3 points of similarity versus like, I took your shit. You only cared about her because they turned her into an anime girl. Okay, you didn't know who she was before that. Don't pretend. The only thing you cared about was which horse was fast, which one won. Okay, stick to it. I'm gonna stick to it.